Do you hate men, but you get erotic massages? Do you hate your parents and you constantly ruminate on what they did to you? Do you hate celebrities and people in higher ups or higher positions and think that they actually have some type of influence over the things that you have gone through? Well, I hate to tell you this, but you are in an identity loop, okay? And the only way out of this reality is to go within. How can you hate the same thing that you crave for? How can you keep ruminating on the same thing that is reminding your nervous system that, hey, you're not safe? How can you blame anyone outside of you for where you currently are in life, especially if you are a grown adult? Because that's who I'm talking to. Click the link in my bio. I do have resources for you, okay? Because I was there. I know exactly how it is. Trauma keeps you looped and stuck. Even when you think you went in because you think, oh, I got all these degrees, but you don't want him to touch you, but you want an erotic massage. Make it make sense. Peace, love, and darkness. Stay rich, stay wet, and stay dangerous. LBI, I'm up, ho. Deuces. Your mother wounds are keeping you financially broke, and this is neurologically proven. The reason is because your brain is really the genie of your life. Your brain is predicting everything that you do. This is why you can, ride a bike, learn how to ride it, and come back. This is why you can drive and still eat food, because your brain has already programmed, your subconscious is already programmed to, this is what's going on, this is how we execute. So therefore, if you keep ruminating, or if you keep in close contact, close proximity to this version, this figure, your brain has an imprint in your mind that this person means something to you. Okay, this person is of value to you. But that's the cognitive dissonance, because if you have a wound, that means the value was never exchanged. Whatever this person was meant to show you and bring out within yourself, you did not translate that. So financially, you will be in a loop as well, because you're internally in a loop. You cannot think better thoughts. You cannot create better opportunities. You cannot step into the version of womanhood, because being a woman is the most powerful fucking thing on this planet. And you will not utilize that power when you're giving your power to a woman figure. Feminine energy is powerful. If you are so locked in on a feminine that is broke, you become that. The woman that you ruminate over, she is not financially free. She does not have self-worth. She did not accomplish and ascend and master herself. So you are merely a vibrational match to her. The more that you keep this wound alive, it's up to you to close that wound. It's up to you to know you are the only woman in your life that you should ever care about. Okay, if this video was a reminder for you to love yourself, to heal yourself, healing does not take decades. You can heal right now. Drop a comment below and say, I am healed. Some people go no contact, but they still stay psychologically attached. They still show up in the world from that mindset. They introduce that trauma. That's why it's like levels to going no contact. For example, the whole black sheep era, the whole golden child, or being the scapegoat, it's like you identify with that, and that's something that you keep repeating, but it is necessary. But there's a level of no contact that is so freeing. This is when the identity is no longer attached to where you have came from. You no longer feel any guilt, any remorse. You don't think about them. They're not a factor. Your decisions are not based or rooted in them. Every decision that you make is all coming from pure self. You have full autonomy over your own identity. You are a whole new person. And this is the part that is so worth it. It's so worth it because you gain a sense of clarity of life. Life was never wrapped around these people. Life was never wrapped around being a daughter, being a son, being a sister, whoever it was, or the entire family system. That's all it is a system. Your life was never meant to be wrapped around that system, because you're a system. You have the ability to create and build systems yourself. It starts with your mind. The moment you decide with your mind, I'm going to walk away, you are now decreeing that you have autonomy and ownership and mastery over your thoughts, over your actions, over your behaviors. Everything that you do is fully reliant on you. And when you go no contact, they're just like a stranger you may walk by, right? When you go no contact and you heal does not take years. Heal is whole. Heal is a system. It's like walking past a stranger who you don't know. They say hello. They may not say hello, but they're not going to be a replaying factor 2 hours from now. 2 hours from you walking past this stranger, you will forget them, because you're going to walk past thousands and millions of strangers and you won't give a darn hoot. The biggest quantum leap is when a person grows up in a toxic environment and they're not shown or taught what healthy communication is. They're not exposed to healthy dynamics. They don't know what it means to connect to themselves. And then they become aware and they say, you know what, I'm going to leave this environment, because while you're in that environment, your nervous system is going to be programmed to the cues of the environment, to the wavelengths of safety, of connection. You're going to connect with people based off of their limitations and their lacks. So that means you're going to have lacks and limitations. But once you become aware, you decide and you say, you know what, I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the plug, because it's basically like an electrical circuit. It's That's just what it is. This is the universe. This is the neurons. So you pull the plug and you go to a different orbit. You go to a different quantum field and you plug yourself in. And then you start to actually feel yourself. You start to actually connect with yourself. You start to actually have a better inner dialogue with yourself, which changes the way that you see yourself. The biggest quantum leap is that self-concept that shifts in metamorphosis from going from scarcity and lack to abundance and peace and fulfillment, because there are 8 billion people in the world. And just because you come from people who lack the ability to, pour into you does not mean that the people over on the other side will not do that for you. It's all about you doing it for yourself. You taking the act to leave, going no contact, that's you pouring into yourself. You having the heart space to treat yourself with dignity and respect. Other people gravitate to you and they treat you the same way. That's the biggest quantum leap, is that self-concept change from toxic family to being healed. When you go no contact with a toxic parent and you have younger siblings, you have to remember that these are not your children. Right? If you went no contact and the siblings are in the middle, but they're under the age of 18, they have to live with that parent. And when you try to go around and talk to the siblings or try to have a bond, whatever you may think is conducive to keep that relationship, is going to come to a point where you're going to have to choose, you or your siblings. You have to choose your mental health, your financial freedom, your sustainability, or keeping a bond with a child that you did not birth. Keeping a bond with a child that is being programmed by the same person that you are disconnecting from. No contact means you are now removing, especially if you feel like you're going to do it for the rest of your life. Some people go no contact to try to get their parents, to wake up. I'm speaking more so from my own of never going back, and those who feel the same, because some things you just cannot go back to. Like it's like spilled milk. What are you going to do? Are you going to get a paper towel and keep trying to pat up the milk and put it back inside the jug and drink it? No, you move on. You go to the store and buy a whole new milk. That's what life's about. It's 8 billion people in the world. So if you know that I'm not going back, I'm not going to reconnect with this person ever again because I love me. This is self-perseverance, self-preservation. Self-preservation is I'm going to preserve my own sanity, my own emotional health, my own dignity, my own confidence. I'm going to care about me. So you can't let your siblings be the thing that teeter-tot you back. They're not your children. You are an adult. When they become an adult, if they ever want to connect with you, great. But you still have to realize that they were programmed by the same thing you disconnected from. So if you feel that, and if you ever feel in your journey at all, if they ever reached out, that they're giving you signs and just they're not on your level, it's okay to cut them off. You have to love yourself. You don't owe no one nothing besides your own children. Whatever you create, you're responsible for your creation. You did not create your siblings. You did not. If the parents didn't want y'all close, guess what? Y'all won't be close. And that's not your problem. These are things you have to release because you can only control yourself. That means you can only control what you attract, who you allow into your life, your own family. You cannot control someone else's household. When you go no contact from a family who is poor and you start your life on your own, the only challenge you will face, once you heal though, okay, listen, healing in itself can feel like a challenge because you're removing the emotional triggers. You're removing the internal dialogue you have with yourself about these people, about why did these people treat you this way. I promise you that part is easy to overcome, okay? The challenge becomes now once you heal, because once you heal, you are whole. Whole is a system. People always talk about how the system is this way, the system is that way. But when you heal, you have the power now to create your own system. That's where I believe the challenge comes in, and I don't hear too many people talking about that. When you're healed, you're fucking happy with yourself, you love yourself. But now moving forward, it's now stability, financial freedom. See, a lot of people who have family and live in poverty, their family, and they become successful, their family that was like their backbone for them to become successful, because now they know I'm doing this for them. But also it's a 2-in-1. Even though they're grinding for their family's right there supporting them, coming to every game, loving on them, making them food, whatever the case may be. They may be the genius of the family, but the family is watering them. But what happens when you come from retarded, slow, poor people? That means you heal. You realize that, bitch, I'm going to be the fuck successful. But now there's nobody who set that record for you there. Or right, you may not have had no one successful in your family, but you damn sure don't have the family support. You don't have that. And in order to have, and this is the last thing I will say, because you should put yourself around people who are doing the things you want to do. But now this is where money comes into play. And I know because I've spent lots of money on coaching programs, right? Which is, I'm happy I did. But that's the point. In order to be around people who are higher than you, you're going to have to come out of pocket because you have to use common sense. In order to be around people who are higher than you, where are they? They're in higher places. They're not just going to be standing around at the fucking grocery store. And even so, they're not just going to randomly take a stranger's number and, hey, we can be friends. Rich people, wise people, wisdom is a property. Wisdom is something that prints money. A wise person is not out here just freely giving their energy to people. You have to either pay for it, or they have social media where you can consume it for free. But it's one thing to hear a message, read a book. It's another thing to actually be able to sit down with someone who is wise, to sit down with someone and talk to them. That's why you pay for the coaching. You pay for this because no one who is actually wise is going to do that for free. Just because someone's older in your community don't make them wise. Oh, you're old. You've been around for a long time, but what money do you have? You're in the same situation as the person coming to you because you're not banking financial freedom. You go to work and come home every day just just like everyone else in the community. So in order to have that wise counsel, you have to pay for it. And no one talks about that. No one talks about healing from your toxic parents, being fully healed, and only thing you see is just the success. You don't give a fuck about what you've gone through. That made you who you are, and now it's up. It's up, but keep going. Melanin women care more about narcissists, who's doing witchcraft, who's toxic, than they do of their financial freedom. There are women who are clocking into 8-hour shifts, and all they consume is, this man is a narcissist. This man is abusive. That's what they consume, and they think that's a flex. They think that knowing who's a narcissist is somehow going to instantly give them the things they desire, when that can be the least of the bit. Because when you point a finger, 3 is pointing back at you. The more you keep giving power to a narcissist is the more you take away your own power, your own sovereignty. We are all one. The same characteristics that are in the person who harmed you, you have the power to alchemize that same thing and become bigger and stronger and better in your story. Because right now, you're constantly telling the story of, this person harmed me, this person harmed me. So when are you going to tell a story that, bitch, I'm winning? Hell yeah, I'm winning. So human nature is narcissistic in itself. Everyone's a fucking narcissist. So my community cares so much about exposing people. My community cares more about exposing people than actually talking about the multiple streams of income that one can have. Writing a book, okay? Writing courses. Like, there's so many things you can do. Making jewelry. Okay, owning a cleaning company, having people work for you. There's so many things that you can actually discuss online besides fear, trauma, and pain. And I'm only telling you this because I love you and because that was me. That was me while I was in college. While I was in college, I was so consumed with who's a narcissist, forgetting that when I graduate, baby, these bills are going to be real. Because when you live on campus, you don't actually think about rent because you're not paying rent. But once you get out here in this world, oh baby, this is real. Fuck a narcissist. A narcissist can't do shit besides pay these bills. The biggest narcissistic phrase is, I have a good heart. And because I have a good heart, you're going to suffer for harming me. That's narcissistic, because human nature is very dark. See, once you master yourself, you master human nature, and you're no longer triggered. Like, this video is going to trigger someone, but someone else is not going to be triggered because they're going to pick up exactly what the fuck I'm putting down. Everyone has the demon and the angel within them. It's up to you to master and control your wolf, your lion, okay? So when people are like, oh, you done messed with the wrong one, I got a good heart, watch what happens to you. Your good heart is coming from a place of validation, right? Because the universe don't give a fuck if you have a good heart or not. The universe is only projecting what you are. So if somebody crossed you, guess what? There's somewhere in your vibration that was a vibrational alignment to that person. So people love to put on this mask like, I'm such a good-hearted person. Why would they do this to me? Why me? In my community, there are a lot of geniuses, and women in particular. A woman who is a fucking mastermind, she needs to hear from other masterminds, other geniuses who are not broken. It's very important when she's on her early developmental stages. Why? Because this is something new. The internet is something new. Melanin women like me, women who look like me, we were only taught the stories, the narratives from our inner circles, from our families. We were not exposed to many things of the world. But now that our women have so much exposure to the world by this app, by this phone, these apps are a beautiful thing. And our women need to see women who have healed, who have done the thing that they ultimately desire to have, which is peace, serenity. There are plenty of melanin women who are in healthy, loving relationships. There are plenty loving melanin women who don't automatically go to fear and thinking of failure. There are so many successful melanin women on this app, but the ones who are in pain, they first see the ones who push out the trauma, because trauma gets clicks and views. Okay, pointing the finger gets clicks and views because that's the average person. So that is more consumed. Okay, the average, because the average person is what, making $60K a year. So if the average is under an authority of someone else, that means the unaverage, the ones who have a free mind, that means they did the work. And our young women need to see access to that. Need to see access to the women who actually did it and are not pointing, blaming, in victimhood. There is no narc supply. There is a vibrational match. There is somebody for everybody. Women get so focused on, oh, his new supply. It really sounds like you're giving so much power to someone when you hold the same power. The same traits that is inside that man, this is human nature. Once you understand human nature can be dark, once you accept it, once you master yourself, there is no narc supply. Kevin Gates, for an example, that young girl was on his live or whatever, and she said, I'll let you poop on me. Like, you can't get mad at that. He is who he is. There is somebody for everybody. It's not a, oh, that's exactly how women see their exes. And they see the new woman as, yeah, she gonna find out. What's she gonna find out? She's exactly where she wants to be. Instead of you focusing on that, you know that you hold the same power, right? While she's allowing him to poop on her, you can have a man fucking taking you to Dubai, doing whatever you want. You can have a man fulfilling your desires. You're focused on the narc getting their desires filled when you have desires as well. When are you going to get your desires filled? When are you going to get your desires fulfilled? When are you going to shine and be like, I got this man doing this for me? There's somebody for everybody. Once you know who you are, people always look at people who have dark traits as if they're the bad guy. We all have the same traits. Human nature. You get to own what you want, and you can have that. You give your power away to someone, making them bigger. No matter how much you say they're a monster. Hey, they're a big old monster, huh? Why don't you be the monster? It's fun. I promise you, the dark side is not scary. You just have to not be afraid. And it doesn't mean you have to do things you don't agree with. If you're not into abusing people, you don't have to abuse people. Just be yourself. That's it. If you come from a dark, twisted family, like, you have some dark traits within you as well. Like, you can't just act like you come from something and you're completely untouched. Now, it is a paradox because, yes, you have a reverse type of energy than they have, but it does not mean you're still not a vibrational alignment, a vibrational match. And it does not mean that you are not to transcend whatever those things are. This is human nature. It is okay to own your human nature. No one, perfection is really subjective, because I can say I have a perfect life and someone else might say, oh no, well, I would want my life like this. Perfection is subjective, but perfection in the sense of a grand scheme of things, everything is perfect because everyone's living out a character. You are a character in a bigger play. We're all just one consciousness entertaining itself. We're all just dancing with ourselves. That's it. You are a reflection of me. I'm a reflection of you, period. But now on a different level, as far as playing the game, if you play the game by the rules, okay, loyalty is very, very important for capital. Loyalty is important for capital. So if loyalty is important for capital, you have to be aware of how people have invested into your energetic frequency. And if you have to be aware of if this energetic connection is conducive for me, you feel me, in whatever way I see fit, that's what it is. If it's not conducive for me, you have to be okay with being like the Ouroboros and consume and eat itself and rebirth again, just like the phoenix. You have to be okay to burn that shit down and build that shit back up again. You have to be okay with cutting down a bridge, burning down the fucking bridge, because you know how to swim, and you will what? Build it back up again. Peace, love, and darkness. Stay rich, stay wet, and stay dangerous. Oh, goddamn, I'm up, how deuces.